Good morning, everyone. Honorable Minister of External Affairs of India, Dr. Jaishankar, His Excellency, the High Commissioner of India to Uganda and Burundi, Sri EAM, Chairman of Ugandan Parliamentary Forum on Indian Affairs, Honorable Fred Plot, Members of Parliament, Executive Committee of the Parliamentary Forum on Indian Affairs, Coordination Committee of Ugandan Parliamentary Forum of Indian Liaison. Good morning to all of you. I would like to extend a warm welcome to Honorable Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar to a Pearl of Africa and Heart of Africa. Namaskar, Wevale, welcome once again all of you here. The visit made by the important dignitaries from Government of India, such as Honorable Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi, Honorable Speaker of Parliament of India, Om Birlaji, State Minister, External Affairs, Sri Muralidharanji, along with yourself, sir. This shows how important Uganda is for an Indian or India in many fronts for the cooperation. I would like to reaffirm only one point from the Honorable Prime Minister, a historic speech made at the Parliament of Uganda, and I quote, "India is proud to be Africa's partner. Uganda is central to our commitment to the continent." I close the quote. Honorable Minister, sir, I would like to bring it to your attention how Government of Uganda also considers Indian and people of Indian origin important. There are few Indians who have received the highest civilian award by His Excellency the President of Uganda, and few of them are here, as Rajesh Chaplot, Honorable Sanjay Tanna's father also received as highest civilian award. In the world, only 8 to 9 heads of state celebrate our festival Diwali at State House, Uganda's president being one of them. This paints a picture how the government of Uganda consider Indians and Indian people of India are important to them. Honorable Minister, sir, and members present here, before moving forward, I would like to put forward how part of Ugandan Parliamentary Forum on Indian Affairs was birthed. Rajesh Chaplot and myself were discussing about the key instrument role played by the Indian community in socio-economic growth of Uganda and how to be represented in Parliament. Then came to the thought of such a forum, which we presented to His Excellency EAM, a High Commissioner of India to Uganda. From there onwards, His Excellency EAM played a key and important and active role for the formation of the forum. I would like to leave His Excellency and Honorable Fred Plot to put some light on that matter further later. May I request Sri Sanjay Avasthiji to hand over a bouquet, a flower bouquet, to Honorable Minister and welcome us on behalf of Indian Parliamentary Forum. Please, sir, flower bouquet. Mr. Sanjay Avasthi. Honorable Minister, sir, let me introduce a liaison team which was nominated by the High Commissioner Office to liaise with the Ugandan Parliamentary Forum on Indian Affairs. To start with, I would request, when I say the name, please stand up for recognition. Honorable Sanjay Tanna is only the person of Indian origin to be democratically elected for 2 terms in the Parliament of Uganda. He has served for 3 years in President Office as a Special Assistant to the Vice President. He has also served on ACP and EU Parliament representing Uganda. He is a great help to anyone in distress, regardless of who he is or she is. Sri Pradeep Karyaji, he has been founding member of NRM, the ruling party, and served on several committees that have shaped the future of Uganda. He has served as a trustee in many charitable and community organizations like SSDM Temple, Lohana Samaj, and Uganda Development Bank. Sri Rajesh Shaflochi. He has been awarded with the Pravasi Bharatiya Samman Award given by the President of India. He has also been awarded the prestigious Golden Jubilee Award, the highest civilian award by the President of Uganda. He has also served as a chairman of Indian Association and Secretary General of Indian Business Forum. Sri Ramesh Babuji. He has served as a Secretary General of Indian Business Forum. He is head of HSS in Uganda. He is currently a board chairman of Guarantee Trust Bank and board of directors of Uganda Manufacturing Association. Sri Sanjay Awasthi. He is an IIT graduate. He is a chairman of Tembo Steel Uganda. Tembo Steel is one of the largest product portfolio in Africa through integrated route. It has highest capacity of crude steel in East Africa. Tembo Steel is one of the first companies to manufacture and produce the following product, a 0.7 mm hot roll sheet through the continuous configuration in the world, sir. To convert cast iron into liquid low carbon steel and bullet cast iron in Africa. Tembo Steel is the first company to do all that first. And I would like to also emphasize that Tembo Steel is one of the top taxpayer in Uganda. Honorable Parminder Katongale Singh, National Vice Chairman of NRM, a current ruling party, in charge of Kampala region, a former National Joint Treasurer for NRM, the ruling party, and he's also been serving a board of trustees in various social organizations like Indian Women Association and Ramgarhia Sikh societies. Last but not least, I'm also be part of a forum committee, and my name is Tushar Upadhyay. I am an honorary advisor of FICCI, a Federation of Indian Chamber of Commerce, served in various positions as Indian Association, also served as a Secretary General of Indian Business Forum, and board members to Uganda Manufacturer Association and many others. With this note, with this introduction, sir, I would request, it is my honor, and I would request His Excellency Ajay Kumarji to come and address all of us the past. Thank you.
Honorable Minister of External Affairs of India, Honorable Chairman of Parliamentary Forum, all invited honorable members of Parliament, the respected members of Indian Coordination Group who will be assisting the Parliamentary Forum. The Parliamentary Forum was generally considered to raise issues of Indian diaspora here in Parliament, but it was basically formed to address a specific problem. Indians have been in Uganda for generations. Even there were connections even before the colonial period, and we had a lot of Indians came here during that colonial era. But for some reason, when the constitution of Uganda came into being after the independence, for some reason the Indian diaspora was omitted from that, though they were those who are residing for generation were rightful owners of that citizenship right, but somehow they could not find a place in that constitution. And that actually that error or omission that really costed the Indian community during the President Idi Amin's period. That history we all know. The present situation is that Indian community can have Indian can have citizenship if you continuously reside here. But what we see is that his children or his next generation is not automatically becoming Ugandan Ugandan citizens. Also, even the persons already become Ugandan citizens also have problem when they go to renew it. So, as Honorable Sanjay Sanna used to say. So, but on the other hand, at the highest level of Ugandan government, there is commitment, and President have publicly announced it more than once, especially during Diwali get-together at State. He has fully supported and publicly announced that Honorable Excellency President support the tribe status to Asians community living in Uganda. But what we noticed that there is no system to take forward that presidential vision in the parliament. That is the way a few of us came together, including Honorable Fred Oplot, to thought about having a forum like this. And the forum has already started and inaugurated in August last year, and they have started the work for which they have been formed, which I am sure Honorable Fred Oplot will tell in detail. I thank Honorable Minister for agreeing to come to this program and address the MPs. I thank all the Honorable Members of Parliament for being here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, His Excellency, for those nice words. We don't have to take further more time, and I would like to call upon the next speaker on the who will be a chairperson of Uganda Parliamentary Forum on Indian Affairs, Honorable Fred Oplot. He has served at the as Executive Director of Uganda Media Center, Office of the President, as well as Minister Councillor and Spokesperson at Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And he was also a board member in Uganda Investment Authority. Currently, he is a Member of Parliament from Pingiri County, Sorry District. Honorable Fred.
Thank you very much, Mr. Trusha, for that introduction. The Honorable Minister of External Affairs of India, Honorable Dr. J. Shankar, the High Commissioner of India to Uganda, Excellency Ajay Kumar, colleagues, members of Parliament, and by extension, members of the Uganda Parliamentary Forum on Indian Affairs, Honorable Sanjay Tana, my friend, MP Emeritus, member of the NRM Central Executive Committee, Honorable Katongole Singh, members of the Coordinating Committee of Indians in Uganda, captains of industry present, and all of you distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Uganda Parliamentary Forum on Indian Affairs, it is my profound honor and privilege that I welcome you, Honorable Minister J. Shankar, to Uganda, and really thank you very much for sparing your time amidst your busy schedule to engage us. It is certainly a milestone for us as a very young organization to receive you. And sir, we certainly don't take this for granted. From a little over a century, Ugandans of Indian ancestry have evolved from a few hundreds who came to assist the British build the East African Railway line. They later settled, became traders and owners of key industries, and now are contributing to around about 63% of the tax base in Uganda. Cognizant of that, sir, the Uganda Parliamentary Forum for Indian Affairs was formed by like-minded parliamentarians and spearheaded by His Excellency Kumar, Mr. Cheplot, and Mr. Trusha. Members you see amidst all of us are vibrant members of Parliament, Your Excellency. Unfortunately, we do not have time to introduce them individually, but nevertheless, they are the committed lot in the Parliament of Uganda. In this regard, I would like to put very quickly a spotlight on the role of the forum. In advancing socio-economic integration, contributing to a legislative agenda and policy framework that not only consolidates and protects the gains Uganda-India friendship has registered in the past 5 decades, but also keeps Uganda a very attractive country for Indian businesses and citizens to invest, thrive, and live in. As such, the members of Parliament on this forum do play an invaluable role. For example, in my earlier discussion with His Excellency Kumar, he noted that processes have stalled for the implementation of 2 lines of credit offered by India to Uganda for power transmission lines and agriculture modernization. Honorable Mara, seated right next to you, sir, Honorable Dixon Katashumba, and Honorable Anifa Nabukera all sit on the Parliament's Budget Committee and the Committee on Finance, Planning and Economic Development, where deliberations on budget financing and health and resource mobilization recommendations to Parliament and the Executive emanate. Secondly, the establishment of the Mahatma Gandhi Convention Center has equally stalled due to the bureaucratic nature of land acquisition and titling for such big projects in Uganda. However, yet again, we have members of this forum such as Honorable Sarah Opendi, Honorable Javira, seated somewhere there, Honorable Rita Atukwansa, and Honorable Margaret Alepe are members of this forum and equally sit on the Parliament's Committee on Physical Infrastructure Committee and Committee on Tourism, Trade and Industry, where the convention matter falls. And indeed, Honorable Minister, as I speak, they have started following up vigorously on this issue. Our brothers and sisters of Indian descent, locally referred to Uganda as Baindi, are also propagating for recognition on as the 58th tribe in Uganda's constitution, as His Excellency has already mentioned. So, Your Excellency, or rather, Honorable Minister, that is just to emphasize the relevance of such a committee or such a forum in pursuing its objectives, especially where interaction and networking with the Indian community in Uganda is concerned. This propagation for a Baindi tribe was a petition was recently delivered by Ambassador Mamtaz, and it was received by our patron, who is the Right Honorable Speaker, and by names of Anita Among. And Honorable Minister, we do fondly refer her as AAA. Triple A. That was delivered, and of course, with the consultations with the Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, just about 2-3 months ago, with His Excellency and Honorable Ambassador, did meet the Minister for Constitutional Affairs and justice in his office. Therefore, to our advantage, yet again, our Honorable Minister, 3 members of this forum do sit on that committee, or the Committee of Legal Affairs in Parliament, and they include Honorable Obiga Rose, who is our publicist in the forum, Honorable John Bosco Okiror, who is seated right at the back, and Honorable Juliet Achai, who is also amidst us, dressed in white. The 3 example, Honorable Minister, illustrate how members of the forum are strategically positioned throughout the 22 parliamentary oversight committees, whose reports have often been adopted by Parliament and operationalized by the executive. Being the first country-focused parliamentary forum, the Indian government and community do get a unique legislative representation of their interests. And with assurances of support from the forum's patron, our speaker, as I've already mentioned, the existing legislative bottlenecks are hampering implementation of key bilateral partnerships, and other outstanding issues will certainly be resolved. However, Honorable Minister, as you may be aware, this doesn't happen overnight. Our legislation processes take years, sometimes stretching beyond 1 term of Parliament. And for a forum as important as this, dedication, stability, and consistency of its members is crucial in achieving its vision and mission. It is therefore in our common interest, Honourable Minister, to see all these members return to Parliament to finish future pending projects. Therefore, it is in this regard that enduring partnerships with the Government of India and corporate social responsibility activities that complement government programs can be far-reaching in their or our respective constituencies, in the form of water and sanitation and hygiene facilities, construction and equipping of skilling and training centers, training health services, strengthening health services rather, renovation of schools, education, scholarship, and apprenticeship programs and agricultural mechanization, to name but a few. Honorable Minister, I engage very closely with His Excellency and will formally present to your office the detail of such interventions that I've highlighted. Honorable Minister, as I conclude, I do want to thank the Government of India for inviting the young parliamentarians who went or visited India for about 10 days on an exposure visit. And may I request, I think it's just the 2 of them who are here now, may you just stand up so that the Honourable Minister, thank you very much. In that context, members of these forum do aspire to create an exchange or to take part in an exchange program or a friendship club with our counterparts in the Indian Parliament in order to further strengthen our institutional capacities or capabilities, that is of both parliaments, whilst promoting dialogue and the tenets of democracy in our countries. And I believe, Honourable Minister, that is much more effective if most of these members actually visit the Indian Parliament and vice versa. Honourable Minister, I do want to thank you very much for interfacing with us, and want to take this opportunity to reassure you and His Excellency Ajay Kumar, of our continued commitment to promote the warm relations between both countries, support partnerships, follow up the implementation of bilateral memorandums of understanding, and also engage relevant state and non-state actors to assist these processes. With those very few remarks, once again, Honourable Minister, thank you very much, and for God and my country. Thank you.
I think that deserves one more round of applause. And he played a huge role as a founder of the forum. It is now my honor and privilege to invite Honorable Minister of External Affairs of India upon stage, Dr. Jaishankar, who is also known as the most dynamic foreign minister in the world. Being great statesman, as well as for being vocal and straightforward on the current affairs of the world. Honorable Minister, please.
Honorable Fred O'Block, Honorable Members of Parliament, Senior Members of the Indian Diaspora, High Commissioner, dear friends. First of all, let me say it's a really great pleasure on my first morning here to meet with all of you. I may be a minister, but I'm also a member of Parliament. So I want to remind all of you that I very much, in a way, have the same feel, the thoughts, the interest, the mindset that many of you have, and I am particularly pleased today at meeting all of you, because in my own country, I know that when members of Parliament take interest in foreign affairs, when they commit themselves to furthering any relationship, it's a great source of strength for those ties. Every foreign minister listens to their MPs. Trust me on that. So I'm sure that when all of you collectively express your interest in your commitment, my counterpart must be feeling the same thing. Now, at the beginning, a reference was made to the more intense relationship that we've had in the last few years, and that is indeed the case. We've had from India, Prime Minister Modi here a few years ago. Many of us remember particularly his address to the Parliament, because he actually used that to lay out our Africa policy as well as our development partnership policy. So even in our larger dealings with the world, we refer to it as the Kampala principles. So it's something which is really very significant in our foreign policy. But we've also had our Vice President here, who's the Chairman of the Upper House, our Speaker, my colleague, who's the Minister directly in charge of African Affairs, and I myself am here. And I hope between all these visits, it completely convinces you really how serious we are and how much we look forward to taking this relationship forward. We had President Museveni visit India last during the India-Africa Summit in 2015. It was our hope, of course, that we would do the next summit. It has slipped, unfortunately, due to COVID. But despite the COVID, what I do want to say is whether it was the commitments made by Prime Minister Modi when he came to Uganda, or the commitments we made at the India-Africa Summit, we have kept those commitments. And one of those commitments of which we are particularly proud of was we had committed really to provide educational and skill access to 50,000 young people from Africa. Despite the COVID, we've actually reached in excess of 45,000. And when we look at the next generation, for us the next generation is not only the next generation in Parliament, which we give a lot of emphasis on, but actually the next generation of leaders and policymakers and professionals and implementers in this society. I'm particularly glad to learn of the forum, of all that you are doing, honorable members, and the interest that you are taking, whether it's the LOC, whether it's the infrastructure, whether it is the issue of how to make Ugandans of Indian origin a much more integrated part of your society. I certainly would support you, your endeavors in this, and I truly wish you strength. I look forward to your taking all these issues forward. Let me briefly speak about our development partnership. One, because an important event in my own program this time is the inauguration of the National Forensic Research University. We have a university which was the brainchild of Prime Minister Modi. Its first campus of India is in Uganda. We have the privilege of joining the President and the Defense Minister tomorrow for that event. And I think that's a testimony of how strong our relationship is. You referred, sir, to the lines of credit. I did note that somehow we were not, for whatever bureaucratic obstacle, not be successful in taking it forward. But what I do want to say is it would be very helpful for us to actually have clarity, conceptual clarity. If we can make up our minds that we do want to go forward, from our side, I assure you we will be flexible. I will not allow, a process issue to come on the way. If that means that we have to tweak some rules and policies on our end, I'm prepared to do that. I will be informing the Honorable Foreign Minister today of that. But I would urge you to look at that line of credit if you are genuinely interested, because at the end of the day, that is a call you have to make. The focus, of course, as you all know, is on power transmission and on dairy and animal husbandry. I understand these are really priority issues. Certainly, I want to reiterate our commitment. I will also today be joining one of your ministers in the virtual inauguration of a water supply project. And here too, I leave that thought with you, because increasingly across the world, getting water to communities, getting safe, quality water to communities is a very major issue. And one of the largest, I would say, developmental initiatives we have in India today. In Prime Minister Modi's first tenure, we made a dramatic change in terms of providing electricity to homes and toilets to people. In this term, we are very confident that our ability to get piped water across to all homes in India will be almost completely achieved. So we today are willing to share some of those experiences, because a lot of businesses and experiences have got created in that process, and that is something which may be of use. We also have a long tradition of exchanges, of education, of training. It is in the civilian sector, it's in the defense sector. Yesterday I told the Defense Minister we'd be happy to expand that and take that forward. Now, having shared my thoughts, I also take the liberty of sharing with you some of the guidance that I got yesterday from President Museveni when I called him soon after arrival. And he impressed on me why it is important for us to really focus on value adds. That this is a country which has a lot of resources, it has a lot of talent, it has a lot of skill, it has a lot of produce. But how do we get value adds on that produce? How do we scale up that companies? How do we connect Uganda much closer to the global markets? I think these were really the thrust of what President shared with me. And I assured him, and I shared that with you, that the follow-up which we will do is to have sustained business events in India, where there's an opportunity to market, all the possibilities in Uganda to Indian business, as well as we would be keen to send a business delegation here, so that they themselves, those who have an interest are able to interact with business. And here I would say the Ugandans of Indian origin, the Indian diaspora, I think is particularly important. I echo many of the words which the High Commissioner said, and I do feel that, how to get the best out of them in terms of connecting to the world, not just connecting to India, that their entrepreneurial skills actually open up many other possibilities for Uganda. So that is something which you might want to reflect on. We today, of course, in India, we are very preoccupied with our chairship of the G20, the meetings are taking place as we speak. We will have a very big summit in September. But I mentioned that to you because we are doing G20 differently. We are doing it differently in the sense that no other chair of G20 made an effort to consult all the countries of the global south and asked them, saying, look, you are not on the table. So what are your interests? What are the things you want? What are your concerns that we can put on the table on your behalf? We went through this very, very detailed, very exhaustive exercise in the month of January. And of course, naturally, Uganda was a participant as well. Today, we would like to use the G20 presidency really to get that forum to focus on what is its remit, what was its mandate, which is global growth and global development, and issues which are very important for you, issues of green growth, issues of debt, issues of health, issues of SDG, developmental agenda, issues of digital delivery. I think all these are really the issues on which we would like the G20 to focus on. And finally, I'm very conscious that Uganda will have the privilege of chairing the non-aligned movement. Today, when I meet the foreign minister, as I did yesterday when I called on the president, I will certainly, on behalf of India, reiterate our fullest support for your very successful chairship of the non-aligned movement. It is something which, again, is a very important responsibility, but I think, it's a responsibility which certainly Uganda, under a tall and experienced leader like you have, I think we expect that, again, the non-aligned will get a kind of a new energy under the Uganda chairship. So I thank you all. I cannot think of a better way of beginning my day. I will be, after this, of course, meeting my counterpart ministers, doing some of the inaugurations that I spoke to you about. But I leave one thought with all of you. Whether it is collectively as a forum or individually. You're all very welcome to India. When you come to the Parliament, I assure you, I'm an honorary member of every Parliament forum. I try whenever any parliamentary delegation comes from abroad to see, somewhere in my parliamentary time, because I have an office in Parliament, to find time to meet them. I would very much welcome all of you there in India. I would welcome you there not just as an expression of friendship. I would also welcome you in India because it would give us a chance to really demonstrate some of our experiences and to see how in some way they may relate to the challenges and aspirations that you are looking at. So once again, a very, very big thank you. I thank you, High Commissioner, and foreign members for arranging this.
Definitely, that deserves a standing ovation, sir.